Hey Patreon, once again guys, thank you for your support. So guys, I've been in a lab recently and I've been working on a defensive set that I think is going to be really good against coverage against my opponents, cause a lot of confusion, show my opponents the same type of a look so they can't really pick up on my tendencies or basically identify the type of coverage I'm running. But also, it basically locks a lot of the concepts up, a lot of the meta concepts. So, guys, I've been using the Pittsburgh Steelers playbook. In particular, it's the dime 2-3-6 defense. But you can actually find this in multiple different playbooks, and I'm sure there's a little bit more depth. You can get into 34, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Giants, the Lions, Green Bay Packers, Patriots, Rams, Baltimore Ravens, and also Minnesota Vikings. So if there's playbooks that you guys are using, you might want to be able to sprinkle this into your scheme. If you guys play franchise, I would definitely recommend putting this into your scheme defensively, because it's a very easy defense to run and it causes a lot of confusion with your opponents and locks them up fairly effectively. So the defense we're going to be taking a look at obviously is the dime 2-3-6. And what I like to do is I like to go ahead and set up my audibles as the following. I like to have my top audible, which is going to be the cover one blitz. I like to have that set up. And then at the very bottom, I like to have quarters, press quarters as my audible. So we're going to use press quarters. It doesn't have to be a press version because these guys don't really come down. It just needs to be quarters as a defense, and I leave pretty much everything else the same, even the cover two sync, which I'm not too fond of anymore. But I'll leave it in there in the scheme just because it gives just my opponent a different look. Now, the key to this defense and how I run it is having your setups. First and foremost, you want to have match is your setups. My preference is to conservative tackle. You guys can go with aggressive if you want to. I just don't like taking penalties. Option, I always go conservative. I don't want anybody to feel like they can run away with their quarterback. And then when it comes to ball defense, instead of playing ball, I'm going to play wide receiver. I find that I get more knockouts than I do interceptions. I don't get a lot of interceptions when I play this game with play ball, but knockouts are good because your CPU defender can knock a ball out, and that's sometimes that's just as good as an interception. And then finally, we baseline. This is probably the most important thing: is baselining. This is going to disguise your coverages and give you the ability to go and flex things up. Now, this is going to be a breakdown of cover four coverage only. And basically what I'm going to do is out of the huddle, I'm going to call the slant to zone, and I'm going to quickly audible into cover 4 is my audible, because I find that this is it's going to get my guys in certain alignments so they're going to be able to play the ball a little bit better. Now, here's the cool thing about the offense I'm going against. I'm going against the Detroit Lions. You've got a bunch set. You've got tights. You've got trips, tight flex. You got regular trips. You got the bunch tight and tight end flex. So we're gonna run into a lot of the meta offenses. This is what motivated me to build this out, was the tight formation. So we're gonna have a couple of adjustments, but I want to show you how effective this is and how easy it is to run. So we're gonna run random offenses. I don't know what the computer's gonna do. There are a couple plays that kind of glitches this defensive outs, but there are adjustments that we can do with it. So here's your adjustments. So basically what I like to do is I like to go ahead and quickly audible into quarters press. I'm going to go ahead and blitz all my linebackers. So I'm going to hit the right bumper here, or the pad, blitz all. This is going to be my user. I'm going to use the middle linebacker. I like to take my defensive line and I like to shift them off to the strong side of the formation, or where the running back is going to go. And the last adjustment is I'm going to go ahead and take my outside defender and basically put him up in a vert hook. So I'm going to go ahead and do that quick adjustment. He'll come up in vertical hook. Now, what I want to do is I want to identify my 3. If I basically go ahead and run this as a stock defense, my responsibility is to go ahead and defend a 3 and then take off crossers and stuff like that. I find that from a defensive standpoint, sometimes that becomes very difficult to read. You get yourself out of position. So if I go ahead and drop one of my edge rushers to put a vertical hook, this means this side of the field with the 2 deep zones, the coral flat, the vertical hook, this is all defended, and all I really have to do is watch for a crosser or basically a flood crossing that comes off to the right side. So my job first and foremost is to hide behind this tackle, and I like to hold my my trigger button, wait for the ball to snap, and then I'm just going to essentially go ahead and watch for the do this. Now I want to show you, this is a very common quick snap play that you see online. It's bench, but I want to show you on how great of a play, how this play just basically shuts this down. Your quick outs, defenders out there playing it, done. This quick out, defender out there playing it, done. This corner route, I've got bracketed over the top. This corner route, bracketed over the top. And then I've got this hook zone that has dropped down below this, is going to basically go ahead and defend that. And I basically came back and I realized that my only person I had to defend is down here, so I was just reacting to that little hitch route. But if you're giving up 3 or 4 yards on a bench concept, people don't like checking down on the running back. So this is a really good setup for that. So I'm glad that that was the first play that we looked at. So we're going to set this up, and we go ahead and run our defense from there. Now, once again, we've got a flood concept going on right now, but I want to show you how this is all completely locked up with one of those common plays that you see online. So we actually had a block shed off the offensive line, but watch. This guy is going up the seam. This is one of the meta plays that we have. This guy's going up the seam. He's double teamed. We've got that vertical hook that carries with him. We've got the guy over the top. The corner route is taken away. This guy peeled off because the ball was he was already sacked right here. But look at this route right here. Crossing route is actually taken away. I'm actually coming across with that route. The only weakness of this defense essentially is this little hitch route, this little buggy route right here. But you can see this is double team right too. So it's just a very easy defensive setup. So we're going to go ahead and quickly switch into it. And I've already got the defense set up. So it's really 3 quick adjustments. And then I'm just going to basically cover and look for any kind of a crossing route over the middle. And you can see how these routes are all bottled up. Now, occasionally with this defense, you will give up some leverage opportunities. So people can actually take a shot over the top. But usually they're looking to see that these routes, you know, if this guy throws, it's a 50-50 ball. But for the most part, you can see everybody's bottled up. This guy's over the top, he's bottled up. You got this guy just falling, waiting for an area to fall back here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just take this up. These guys are all taken away, so there's nowhere for the guy to go to. So really easy to set up. You can see this is just a very fast and easy setup. And my job is to watch for any kind of crossing route. You can see I'm just sitting right here with that, with that route right there. Now, I don't care. Most people don't run that particular play right there. That's not a huge play that gets used online. But you can see we could just set this up. It's a very easy setup. And all I'm going to do is just user the middle of the field and just try to look for these, these stick concepts. So you can see he takes a shot up top. That's double team. That could get tipped into interception. Set this up. Make sure we get the hook zone. The hook zone is key to this defense. It gives me some type of protection against the 3. And you can see right here, even though he caught it in the inside, there are defenders in that area. And that's the most important thing, is I want my opponent to force throws into my defensive backs, because when you do that, you get picked off. Now, another thing too is that this is actually pretty good run defense. The way this run defense sets up is that I'm just going to go ahead and hover with my linebacker, and a lot of times what happens is this guy will get double teamed, especially inside zone, opening this guy up. And all I'm really going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and try to force this guy back on the inside. You can see that this is bracketed, the running. He's not going to get a big run against me because With me coming across the side right here, you've got this run fit by this guy. There's really nowhere for the running back to go. Even though he picks up a couple of yards, that's going to deter people. Most people, they want to get 5 or 6 yards per run. They don't like to settle for 3 or 4. It's just it's a mentality of the game and how people play online. So setting this up. Make sure you set this up correctly, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hide behind this tackle. I shift the guys off to the left, and then we're just going to go ahead and look for passing concept. Okay, so this is a good play to show you. My responsibility is to carry over against any kind of a mesh concept. So I have to do this type of stuff. This is mesh, okay? And essentially with mesh, when you leave the matching situation, it will break down. So if you got an opponent that runs mesh, you want to do the following adjustment. So let's just go ahead and jump into mesh and just show you. I'm going to show you a couple of different plays that you can run with this particular play. But if you got a guy that runs mesh on you a couple times and breaks it, there's very simple adjustment to do. The stop mesh, and there's another play that we'll be taking a look at too. So let's just go ahead and jump into this real quick. All right, so mesh. Here we go. Mesh spot. Really simple, easy thing to lock this up. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do underneath coverage. We're going to have hard flats. And we're going to go and set this up. Now, another adjustment too is I can take my outside defender and put them into a quarter flat or into a deep third. So that's going to be our defender, which is the square triangle. It's Johnson. That's our other cornerback. I'm going to put him into outside third, and what that does is that's going to defend against any kind of corner route that you'll see in these type of sets. So once again, we have the defense set up, but look what happens with this defense. He's throwing right to my user to go ahead and set that up, but I want to show you an instant replay. With you just doing hard flats, it's going to go ahead and take away this mesh concept because they're going to pass people off, and they're going to go ahead and take the mesh concept out. And then you can see I've got this defensive back right. I've got this guy dropping back in that hard flat. I'm passing this guy off right here to the other defender, and I'm coming right back in the middle. Now, if you have this guy into a deep third, he'll take away those deep corner routes. So if he decides to throw that deep corner route is going to be available. No, he's biting on the pass already, but you can see he's just falling back into that zone. So let's go ahead and run this again. So just another adjustment, deep thirds. The problem with deep thirds is sometimes it will get broken down by some other defenses out of this, but my recommendation is just to basically go ahead and take away those fast reads that a lot of players like to use. So set this up once again. My fingers got a little bit fat on that type of situation, but you can see where he's got really nowhere to go with the ball. This particular play is all locked up. Now there's another play that you could take a look at that you're going to see online a lot, and you might have people do some adjustments with it, but you can do essentially the same setup in this particular play. Let's go ahead and set this up, and I'm going to jump into some other formations so you can see how this works. So the play in particular is drive corner, another really meta play that's getting used online. So once again, I'm going to set this up. I want you to watch the corner route by the star wide receiver, and how sometimes that particular corner route gets leverage, but he does get matched. Now, if you want to take that corner route away, all you're going to do is use the same mesh concept. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do underneath coverage, put a deep third off to the left, underneath coverage. We've got that hook zone off to the right, and now we're going to essentially go ahead and trail. I'm going to show you how we got an extra defender to take away that corner route that's really money in the game. Watch how this guy defends that corner route. Now he's out here. We've got this bracketed. He can't underthrow the ball or cut it because this guy's here, but he's over the top of that right there. So that's just another adjustment you can do. if you feel like if you get hit by a corner route, that's an adjustment you can do to go ahead and have your defender out there. So if he takes a shot at the corner, now you know he's going to try to hit you with corner routes. You can put this guy out there. Puts a little stress over the middle of the field, but you can see how this guy comes down and trails on the backside. We're playing this route, and he's going into a double team. We can back out of this, and this guy's locked up. These guys get stupid, but that's a pass responsibility with this thing. So let's go and jump into a different formation, and I'll just show you how this really works with other formations too. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Let's see here. Let's jump into Trey Flex, or just actually Trey. Very popular formation, getting used online. So we're going to go and jump into that. With this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave my guys as the same. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other wide receiver, the other defensive back end, and put him on a hook zone. And I'm going to take my defensive line and actually slide them off towards the strong side of the field. Now, my job is right here. Now, here's the thing. I always want to identify the three. The three is the third wide receiver. So we've got the one from the outside, the two right here, the three. And wherever my three is going to be, whether it's a running back in the backfield or if it's just a wide receiver on the right side, I'm going to put a hook zone out there, because what that does is it basically slows up the reads a little bit with the computer. So we're just going to go ahead and set this up, and then we're going to just watch the crossing. And you can see I think that was a screen play, but you can see how that play just got completely blasted. So fairly simple to set up if I can set it up correctly, but here you go. Set it up right here, and my job is to watch anything crossing over the middle of the field. And then I've seen a couple little animations like this. It might just be one of the settings with the run play. That might be the bubble play. So set this up. And if you want to get better defense, you can take your defensive ends and actually slant them towards the strong side of the field, and that actually will take up more blockers for the run. And then we're just going to go ahead and watch for any kind of a crossing concept. So let's go back in this replay, show you how basically this play just completely locks everything up, puts defenders in the area. So I've got this route right here that's going to kind of freeze the defender a little bit. I'm actually going to go ahead and just fall back into this passing route, but I know what's going to happen is this guy over the top is going to pick him up for a crossing route. So I'm okay with that. He's going to basically go ahead and take him, and if the guy gets to basically this area right here, that passing lane becomes very tight. This guy underneath is going to go ahead and take that route right there, and then we've got basically my zone fit dropping right here. And then I'm just going to go and use her over the middle of the field, and you can see how these guys are just basically completely locked up. They've got nowhere to go with this secret play. So set this up, slide these guys over. I'm just going to use her right here. I've got to defend this area right here, and then I can pass them off and then play after that. So that's one of the things you can do right there, is just play after that. So set this up. So you got to identify the three, and then you kind of go from there. So we'll talk about like run fits after with this your play, but it's about stopping passing plays. A lot of people that use this formations are running basically passing plays, so that's what's great about it. We're going to go into, I'll show you how some of the other money formations that are getting used online are basically shut down. But this guy had to pass into a very very tight window, so you could see how this is really good. So right here, this guy pushes off and then kind of like carries and then double teams up here. So this corner route is dead. This guy kind of bounces out and then comes back around. This corner route is dead. We've got basically a levels concept that's going over the middle, and I'll let the guy take the low because I've got bracketed coverage underneath it to go and take that away. So I'll give up 5 yards, not a huge deal in this type of situation. If I'm concerned about giving up 5 yards, I can hard flat my guys just to get underneath a little bit better. So set this up. You want to do a vert hook with this defense. It's going to be a little bit more effective. It's going to get guys up in the seams and try to deflect against that type of stuff. And I'm going to show you on how some of these money routes, these money plays that really breaks things down, really get shut down. So watch how this guy comes out of the corner. He's picked up. I've got basically an underneath route. This is an underneath route. It's got a bunch of people in the area. My responsibility is to take away this guy and trade him off once he gets to the safeties. And this corner route has got a defender that's going to be over the top of the corner route. So if he wants to try to throw in between that, that's fine. So let's go and jump into another formation and just show you how cover 4 match with basically with a vert hook off the defensive line pretty much shuts everything down. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. And let's go ahead and jump into bunch. Bunch is like one of the more OP formations in the game. And we're going to go ahead and do some random stuff here. So once again, we're going to set this up. We're going to go ahead and take our defensive line and shift them off. We're going to blitz our guys. And then we're going to take our number 3 is over there. So we've got the 1, we've got the 2, we've got the 3. Our number 3 is where we put our vert hook. And then I'm going to go ahead and hide behind the tackle. And then just user anything that crosses back to the other side. So I'm using this type of stuff. And I can pass him off if there's a defender right there. But you can see, you know what? I'm not concerned about that. If a play breaks down, take a look at this. If I got my opponent waiting for the play to break down and for the wide receivers to come back, I'm winning in Madden. So you can see I'm passing this off. This guy's locked up. He's double bracketed. I've got a guy out here to the flat. This is a C route that's completely covered. This guy's sitting here just waiting for something to come across the middle. And I'm just going to go and sit here and go ahead and take away his other read. So it's a really good defense. I'm going to set this up. Stay with this right here. And we got a whip route. And you can see how this is just completely shut down. Guys are playing these routes perfectly. It's so easy to set up. Your opponent's going to have to go ahead and try to find ways to break this defensive down. But you can see you can play right in the middle, and all you're going to do is you're just going to play in the middle, and you can switch things off unless everything is completely over here. But you can see if he tries to throw the ball, he's throwing the ball into by 4 or 5 people. If he tries to throw it over the top, he's throwing it against 4 or 5 people. So it's just not smart Madden to go ahead and make those type of risks. So set this up. And then here's your running play, which is a reverse. No idiot would do a reverse in the game because reverses are terrible. Set this up. You have to work on the motor skills. Sometimes I sit there. Okay, so here's a great play that a lot of people like to use in the game. And I'll show you how this particular play just gets completely locked up, and he has nowhere to go with the ball. So with this defense, this is one where it's got that shake route, where the guy just sticks right here and then goes. He's getting double teamed up the seam. I'm sitting right here waiting for it, so he can't. He's got to wait for this guy to shake. This guy is outside, nowhere to go. This guy's in a corner route. He's got basically a defender right there. This corner route is covered. So this shake route that a lot of people like to use is basically dead too. So just get the motor skills down. It's just a few adjustments to set this base defense up, but it's really effective defense. It's something you guys want to take a look at. I'm going to start using it more online. I'm going to just show you basically how effective it is for me. A lot of people just don't see quarters a lot online. They see a lot of man coverages, so they can kind of anticipate stuff. So quarters kind of messes them up because these guys switch off on different types of coverages and stuff like that. So once again, thank you for your support, guys. Until next time.